creators of Relevant Magazine. This is the Relevant Podcast.
It's a week on Friday, September 23rd, 2016, and it's the Relevant Podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Strang, and this week's show is brought to you by Israel, the land of creation. If you've been thinking about your next travel adventure, the Israel Ministry of Tourism is inviting you to come experience Israel for yourself.
Israel loves the podcast.
They do? There's so much to see and do. Joy, what would be the number one thing, based on the trip you just took, that you would tell somebody thinking about going to the Holy Land what they should experience?
Obviously, all the Bible, stops, I guess you could say, are so incredible. The Sea of Galilee is amazing. But I watched this video that kind of surveyed the land of Israel, and people don't realize, I feel like it has every type of terrain. It has desert, it has seaside, but it also has snow-capped mountains. So there's wine country, and it really is it's a very small piece of land with a lot of terrain.
You seem to be pretty into food on that trip and your husband looking at maps. That's what I remember most about looking at your pictures.
Man loves some maps. And so with all the different, people who have been in control of different parts of the land, there's all these different maps.
I think this is one of my favorite sponsors because of, there are some where it's here's a new watch company no one's ever heard of. I'm like,
Movement.
Israel's pretty good. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
we got it. You're going to go to Israel. Here's how.
You can go to www.landofthebible.com, but it's land-of-the-bible.com.
How else would you possibly do it?
And discover the side of Israel you've never seen. Israel, the land where anything is possible.
Double flipping omelets.
Like I said, I'm your host, Cameron, and here with me in our Orlando studio, Eddie Big Cat Koffoltz.
Shalom.
Over there on the ones and twos, our producer, my brother, Chandler Strang.
Hello.
On the Skype line from Loverland, Virginia, Jesse Carey.
Hello, hello.
And all the way from Portland, Oregon, Joy Eggerich-Reed.
Present.
Well, I'm happy we're back to recording on our normal day.
Yeah.
Last week's episode, it felt a little off because we had recorded on a Monday.
Because
of travel.
That's right. That was a million years ago.
And I felt like, to be honest, I felt like Eddie's head was in a different place. I felt like he was still, he was present in the studio, but his heart was still in Maine. I think he's resettled back.
It's still really hard. I was playing racquetball this morning with DJ JD, and
hey, can we play racquetball sometime?
Yeah.
I go.
Are you a YMCA member?
No.
I have a couple
LA
guest
Fitness.
passes. It's hard to. I might use
We got
one
courts.
on you.
I could give you a guest pass to my spot.
I really want to play in your dad's court.
I have
his
a key
little
to that.
private court.
That's what I.
Wait, you have your own key?
I have a key to that.
My dad, for those who don't know, my dad was a racquetball enthusiast over the course of his lifetime, and he's still with us. And he built. Did
anybody think he was dead?
Well, because I was saying over the course of his lifetime, he was.
Yeah,
I was talking
it
about
did sound like a eulogy a little
but
bit.
my dad's older now, so I don't know if he still is. So I didn't want to.
Still plays, just not as intensely as he used to.
So
just to be clear,
I think if he's playing, it's the
still
same level of
intensity.
intensity.
That's true.
It's just the frequency is less. Anyway, when they built their office in the 90s, they built a warehouse building, and he carved out a little corner, and they constructed their own racquetball court.
That is the holy
It's the
grail of
centerpiece
racquetball.
of the office complex.
So you're saying you have your own
I
key
have
to
a key.
it?
Yeah.
You have a key to the racquetball court?
The rule is you can get a key. Anyone can get a key to this racquetball court. There's only one thing you have to do to earn that key,
Just got to beat him.
and that's beat the man himself.
Yeah. And he plays in a
I did beat
suit
him once.
while he is looking over final edits of the magazine, and he doesn't break a sweat.
Wait, you beat him?
I beat him one time, and he remembered it.
Oh, of course you
And
remember.
it
the
later,
next
which-
day,
That was my story. I beat him one time and haven't played him
and-
since.
Right.
Chandler, well, real quick, Chandler, when
Yeah.
you beat him,
Yeah.
did after he pull out of his back pocket like a necklace, and on the end of that necklace
I
was
took a
the
knee.
key that
Yeah.
you still possess?
Yeah.
It's a single golden
And you
key.
took a knee and
I
he
took
put
a knee,
it over
yeah.
the
was-
necklace.
Yeah,
over
and
your-
he
And he
ceremony.
said, son, this is the proudest I've ever been of you.
and never speak to me again. And that was it. That's the end of the relationship.
But now he can play racquetball whenever he wants.
I feel like we've talked about racquetball an inordinate amount on this show, but I would like to say that Jeremiah is incredible, but
Really?
the guys on the court next to us who were in their 60s and 70s would have destroyed us. Like, I wouldn't have ever been able to return a single shot. Like, how is it that you get so much better as an old guy?
Well,
because
his
I mean, like, I'm
accuracy.
in my physical prime.
That's how
clearly.
he is. That's how he was. He would, he could hit it so
The
low
old
on
guys,
the
the old guys and the fat guys just camp out in the middle, and then they just like have precision, like and you're running around like a fool.
I'm just bouncing around like a ping
wall.
pong.
He'll stand right in the center of the court, get hit several times in the game.
But it's a cost reward situation. He's going to go, I will dominate the location. I will not give up real estate.
Correct.
I will get hit a few times, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
And I will give you the golden key and then never speak to you again.
Right.
Don't come home for Christmas.
Are there other sports like that? I feel like, racquetball, it seems like old men dominate. I feel like
golf.
Biking as you get older is kind of like
golf.
People get really strong. Golf.
Biking, I've never
say biking.
Well,
like road biking. That's like an old person sport. They're like still really good at it.
I think you're thinking of mall walking.
Yeah, but to your point
That
about
too.
biking, I've seen a lot of like weight guys biking, and I'm like, I don't think this is a sport I'm going to invest in.
I was.
Is that an awful thing? I think that's awful.
I was going out to the Orlando City soccer game the other day, and I parked downtown, so the stadium's about a mile away, and there's a bunch of pedicabs, and I'm like, hey, you know what? I hate these things, but I don't want to walk a mile, so I jumped in.
I don't like a man being a horse,
and so we had a guy who was not quite in prime physical condition, and about halfway there, it was kind of a Jesse's situation in Austin. I mean, this guy's drenched with sweat. You get every pedal was an audible situation. Right. It's like
the gears aren't shifting like they used to, and he's going to stop.
Granted, I was with a buddy named Big Mike, so that could have had something to do with it.
Yeah, Big Mike comes by the name.
My situation in Austin was awkward because I grossly underestimated the distance, and like I could see like when he had a panic look on his face when I told him the distance when I was already on board that it probably wasn't a standard thing. And then when I asked him to pull over at that cheeseburger place, like I said, I would have offered him one, but clearly he had his hands full. He was barely making it as it was. I did not want to throw a cheeseburger in this, into the situation.
Yeah, it's not fuel at that point. It's going to weigh him down. Yeah,
exactly.
Well, I appreciate last week you guys moving your schedules to record on Monday because on Tuesday I flew out to LA for the Hillsong movie premiere, and that's why we had to move it.
Have you gone to the premiere twice now?
No, the New York thing was like a media thing. This was actually like the film opened last week, and so they had the whole LA premiere thing at the Hollywood theaters, and it was really cool.
Okay, so but let me ask you this. I realize this is beside the point. Like, I was on an airplane and saw what was it? Oh, the American President. Remember that movie? With Michael Douglas?
Not really.
So this was an airplane trip back in 1997.
But that's what I'm saying. It was like all those like old movies that were like just
Why did you choose?
He was
that
on
one?
Frontier Airlines.
Right.
They can't afford the new
So
stuff.
I thought, you know what?
But
I
real
love
quick, Eddie, when you said, "Hey, it's on one of those airlines that's just showing a bunch of old movies," everyone collectively goes, "No, we have no idea." That's very strange.
No, but it was an international flight, and they had like 200 movies, and I was like, I've seen all the new stuff, so I watched it.
Yeah.
But I was like, I remember all of this, and I had seen it when it came out, so it'd been like 25 years.
Yeah.
Weren't you a little overseeing Hillsong on the West Coast?
3 weeks apart, yeah.
Even though it was like worshipful and hatful and everything.
I'll
like
tell
that.
you this. I mean, I went to support my friends. I mean, if we had a premiere of something and my friends came, it mean a lot to me, So that was why I went. I kind of was thinking the same thing you were thinking, like, oh man, I just saw this like 3 weeks ago. I don't watch any movie 3 weeks apart, But here's the deal. It held up, and it was actually a little bit better the second time. It was really good. Like, I walked out there, like, I really actually enjoyed watching it in that environment. It was great.
I've always thought that if I go to a movie premiere, though, you always sneak out during the movie premiere, and then, like, the stars of the movie are, like...
To get snacks?
Yeah, like
Mingling in the
snacks and,
lobby.
like, vaping in the lobby. Like, isn't that kind of what...
No, it was
Always
packed. I mean,
vaping in the
nobody
lobby.
left.
Everybody watches it, huh?
Everybody watched. They handed you bags of popcorn when you walked in, and a soda when you walked in. And then,
Free?
Yeah.
Joy.
I mean, there's a red carpet and TV and all this stuff.
Like the fact that like the members of Hillsong are all there and people are wearing like tuxedos does not get Joy excited. But the fact that they gave you a free bag of popcorn, that's I get why you flew out to LA. To be honest,
I could have gotten 2 bags if I wanted.
Do they like? Is it?
One to go.
Is the posture to worship during the movie, or is it more like is it set up where it's like you watch this and experience it, but it's not intended?
It's,
what do you think the director intended? It's what I'm getting at.
Well, the director's not a believer. The director is the guy who did the Jay-Z Fade to Black documentary, Nicki Minaj, a bunch of other projects, but he's a phenomenal music.
Two of my favorite Christian movies, by the way.
Music documentarian.
Worshipful, if you will.
You've seen probably the Justin Timberlake concert films and
Obviously.
stuff like that, you know.
I'm a believer.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that, but then there's a lot more documentary behind the scenes stuff too, like the Heart of the Church, the guy's stories, you know, kind of, actually there was like a culminating event in the story, and so it's kind of like following the behind the scenes, and it's like real actual dramas, just a documentary.
Yeah.
But it's interspersed with, you know, music experiences and songs and stuff, and it's shot amazingly well.
No.
Are people standing and clapping along? No, but they call it a theatrical worship experience.
Right.
Honestly, I hadn't seen anything like it. It's not a Justin Timberlake like concert film, and it's not a documentary. It's kind of both. It's really well done, and I think the reason why it works, it was done by an outsider. It wasn't a puff piece. It was done by a guy who's not a believer, who didn't know who they were, and he is telling their story. And it's really interesting. And they didn't have final cut. They had nothing to do with this movie.
I wonder what it was like. Finally.
They got approached. And they didn't want to do the film. They told us that on the podcast a few weeks ago when we interviewed them. I mean, they had nothing to do with it. They got approached. They were, you know, like you would be, a little nervous, but they felt like we should take a risk and do this and trust these guys. And this is what happened. And it was really cool.
Anytime like a journalist or like a documentarian is genuinely curious about the subject that they're covering, that always translates well. That's why it's like, I think why the movie's been received so well is because it is an outsider who, you know, because as a foreign world, was really curious about how it operates and what the appeal is.
The crazy thing is it's a, you know, blatantly Christian movie, and it's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and it got an A on Cinema Score, which is crazy.
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, when was the last time a Christian movie got critically reviewed well? You know?
Yeah.
But again, I think it's because it's a legit music documentarian. Anyway, it was fun. I was out there, and then on Wednesday, I had a day to kill because I want to stay for Wednesday night church, Judah Smith's church, you know? So I had a day to kill on Wednesday. And after I had gone to the Mars thing, one of our podcast listeners hit me up and said, "Hey, I work at SpaceX. If you're ever in LA,
neat.
I'd love to give you a tour of SpaceX."
No way.
What is that?
It's Elon Musk's rocket company. Like the guy who did Tesla and PayPal and stuff. Like it's his rocket company. And it's so they're right there by LAX. And so like there's no tours. I mean, this is not a tourist destination.
LAX, huh?
Yeah. And so I go there, I'd go through all the security and stuff, and she meets me and is showing me around. And right there you walk in and you're kind of like at Google with the crazy awesome, you know, like cafeteria and stuff, but they're building rockets 15 feet away. It's like one massive room, and there's mission control right there, and there's robots like, you know, like smoothing out the carbon fiber shells, and there's things flying over your head. I'm not kidding. They shot Iron Man in it in their facility because it's so like space age, and like. It was crazy. And so she ended up giving me a SpaceX model that I'm doing with Cohen, and then a couple t-shirts and stuff. It's really cool.
Did they let you push any buttons?
Yeah. Did you see a joystick around and just be like, I'm just going to yank this back?
Well, the crazy thing is, but the crazy thing is like in my head, you know, when you're assembling rockets, it's kind of like the vehicle assembly building out at NASA. Guys in like white, you know, coveralls or whatever, you know, those.
It looks like Jesse and Walt.
Yeah, hazmat suits. It's a clean room. It's like 4 scientists. You can't go in there. No, these guys. I mean, there's like maybe a little like velvet rope. Like, hey, don't go over here. But
maybe that's not right. Like maybe they should. Maybe that's not like because it's awesome. Maybe that's because they just haven't figured out like you gotta have a pretty clean rocket to make it to the moon. Like if they just haven't seen
Cameron
Apollo 13.
leans over and spills like a drum of rocket fuel, and it's like,
it's just like there's rocket fuel pouring over the like to the moon button. They're just like, unplug it.
Wasn't it SpaceX that just had a rocket blow up?
Okay.
no, they call it the aberration. That's what. It's not the explosion. It wasn't the accident. It was the aberration.
Right.
oh,
That
makes it better.
It was a silly fire time. It's like no big deal.
But they're working on. Elon has said that SpaceX will send humans to Mars by 2024. Do the math. That's not that far
crazy.
from now.
Yeah.
No, and Science Mike has said very clearly that he would leave his family to go to the Mars.
Yeah.
To the Mars. How old am I?
Well, you play racquetball.
Sweetheart, did you see that they went to the Mars yesterday? I'll be darned. My friend Science Michael was on it.
That's like people who call it the email.
Right.
Did you get it in the email or yeah? I got to check the email about
My
that.
mom does that. It's what's the called, like the definitive article or something? She does with everything. The Costco, the Chili's. Everything is
When she wants to access the email, does she go to google.com and then in the search field type in Hotmail?
Oh, yeah, totally. Oh, absolutely.
There it is.
Yeah, here we are. That's how you get there.
I just want to say a big thanks to podcast listener Jesse Claycamp
Were you
for showing me around SpaceX. It was awesome. And you know what? She sent some SpaceX swag to Science Mike.
Oh, that's
wow.
good.
That's how thoughtful she is. Well, we have a great show in store for you today. Coming up later, David Crowder joins us in the studio to play us some songs from his new album. It's called American Prodigal, and it comes out today. So look at that synergy. That's some timely...
Yeah.
SpaceX wouldn't even make him wear like one of those like beard things.
No.
He could just roam freely throughout the rocket ship.
David Crowder hairs would be all up in the rocket stuff.
That's a
I
mess.
think we've determined what happened with the aberration.
Yeah.
It was just clogged with Crowder beard hair.
Yeah.
Just ignited.
When Crowder came through, I took a picture, with him before he left and whatever, and I posted it. And somebody on the internet put David Crowder's beard on my face, which was very disturbing.
That guy. Well, you remember when
I don't mean this as like disrespectful.
No, he has a great beard. It
suits him well.
It's Gandalfian.
Gandalf.
It's getting wizard like.
Yeah.
Like it's gone from like hipster to.
Well, remember the
wizard.
goatee? It was a long goatee for a long time. That was his trademark, and then he rounded it out as he's gotten it older, and now it's like a long beard.
I think it was a good call.
Yeah, like I said, it's getting more and more wizard like. He's getting more wizard like.
he is. Remember a couple years ago when we talked to him at the Justice Conference?
I do.
He has a funny interpersonal way that I really like. Like he's very intense and intentional, but he doesn't break eye contact. And he doesn't blink that much.
He looks at the bridge of your nose.
So that you can just never. Yeah, we found out that Sweet Chandler took allocution lessons and had to learn how to be a gentleman. And they told him in gentleman class that you're always supposed to look at the bridge of a person's nose.
So as not to intimidate them with too direct of eye contact. That's what we learned right before we hit record.
See, yeah, I look like as if there's someone standing over the person's shoulder.
No, it's so that you don't feel intimidated by them.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's for you.
Wait,
What?
but
this
why would you feel intimidated? So, like, let's say you're talking
Because eye
to someone.
contact can be intimidating.
Yeah, if you're like intimidated by meeting someone or something, I don't know.
So hypothetically,
people
you're
are
talking
like
to
that.
someone who's very tall and resembles a wizard at this point.
Right.
Yes.
And you do not want to be
That's
intimidated by them.
overwhelming.
You just stare
Right in the
right at
center.
their nose.
The David Crowder situation.
Yeah.
He is at least 6'10", maybe 7'2".
Yeah.
So I'm looking up at him. I can't even find the bridge of his nose.
No.
I mean, I was looking kind of at his armpit the whole time.
Right in the eyes.
Right in the eye.
Never
Eye to
break
eye.
eye contact.
Yeah.
But the thing is, he's not going to break eye contact with you because he just cares so much about what you're saying that I remember there had to be a point where like, well, good seeing you. Like, and he had to go.
Was there a kind of a slow hug at the end? How did you wrap it up? I mean, if he's going from intense...
beard
Did
hug.
I hug him?
Did you have a moment?
I don't think I did. Did you? Well, you side hugged him in the picture.
Yeah, we side hug.
Yeah, that's
we're side
nice.
huggers. We do the hand clap to the bring it in, and then
I can't ever do that.
Yeah.
It's a handshake or a hug. We got two options.
Can I say that one of the most awkward side hugs that I've experienced in a while?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Well, you can. You can.
And
Describe in great detail,
Cameron,
please.
maybe I'm blowing this out of proportion because he was not an awkward guy at all.
That's
But
unlike
remember, a few weeks ago, Nate Bargatze was in the studio.
Yes, he was.
And we had a great, we talked for like an hour. And after we were like, okay, if we do this with all the guests, let's stand here and you stand in the middle. Cameron and I will stand on either side. His arms are outstretched to get us both in a side
You
hug.
sidled up. Yeah.
Yeah. And it wasn't like we just handed an iPhone to Chandler and said, hey, can you get a picture or whatever? We asked JD, who's like a photographer, to come in with like a real camera.
Yeah.
And he's like framing the shot and he's like, you know what, guys, this is all wrong. Hang on. And he's like adjusting settings and stuff. And meanwhile, we're sitting there
Hugging.
hugging for an extended time. And Nate Bargatze's hugging both of us. No lie. It went on for probably 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Like,
a long time.
just think about just standing and you're all got the fake smile.
And you don't
I'm like,
know each
JD,
other. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, JD, this isn't like a portrait that we're framing above a fireplace here.
Yeah.
Just
But
snap a
it might
picture.
be if it turns out right.
Yeah.
Should be.
My other least favorite one is the people that do the kiss on the cheek.
Who does that?
Oh, I like that.
A lot of people in California do it.
Grandmothers?
Yeah, a lot of people
No, like New Yorkers and Europeans.
West Coasters do a lot of kissing on.
Westerners?
But
Yeah.
to you, or are you just saying because you see it on Real Housewives of Orange County?
No, I love that show, but no, like to me, like you see a hug and then there's like the little kiss on the cheek, and I'm like, God, I don't want to be kissed. I like don't.
And real quick, have you ever got one of those, Eddie? Have you ever got one of those kisses on the cheek and been like, was that a wet kiss or a wet nose? And which is worse? In my mind, which grosses me out more?
Yeah, I don't like
Like
it.
something was wet in there and it was either the nose or the mouth. Do I care which? Do I even want to think about it?
Yeah, no.
I love it. I think it's really it just feels so much more like culturally warm. It feels like you immediately break some.
You and I love each other, and when I see you, I don't kiss me. You don't kiss me. We just give each other a nice hug.
Here's my thing: cheek, forehead. Everyone I meet.
No, that's a nice one. Just a gentle, soft
I grab them
kiss
by
on
both, and I just go right on the forehead, and then I press my forehead against theirs, and I
bridge of
stare
the
for
nose.
2
Okay.
seconds.
Yeah.
Then I whisper something that is only meant for that person right in their ear, and then I stare at them for 35 seconds.
I've been waiting for you all along.
I've spilled a tremendous amount of jet fuel around back. Please don't help me.
Don't push the moon button.
But I'll tell you, right in the middle of their production facility, they have this fantastic coffee shop, and so they have
It's out in the open.
It's right out in the open.
Right-
Absolutely, it is
right in the middle of the jet propulsion.
And like you go up to order a drink, and it's like, do you want to? This is only for their employees, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
And it says Rocket Cappuccino, Blaster Espresso. Like it's all themed.
It's a little on the nose. I get it.
Yeah. But and my friend Jessie, she said, by the way, when you order, don't order the Rocket Cappuccino, just say cappuccino. Like she just give me a heads up. Like we don't actually,
cool.
Like
when Elon's around, we might throw it in
right.
there. But
when he's doing evaluations
Yeah.
and walking the floor,
That's like when the drink that I like when I go to Starbucks is like an iced chai with espresso in it.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
And they always want to repeat it
Isn't
back.
that called
They
like
go,
a dirty Louis or something?
Yeah, they go, oh, so a dirty chai? I'm not saying that. I'm not saying dirty chai. I don't care how many times you confirm it that way. I'm not
do this.
dignifying
Do
it.
this. Just look at him and say, I like a nice chai. Lean in, make direct eye contact and go, make it dirty.
And then just a soft kiss on the
Someone
forehead.
asked my wife the
And
other
you're
day.
like, don't look at the bridge of my nose.
They literally said they said this day, and they go, "How dirty do you want it?" I swear that's true. I've said, Dana, please tell them back as dirty as you can make it, and then just, no, I can't do this. I got to get out of here.
Poor Dana. Gosh, once again, the poor Dana files. Just a whole show about what it's like to live her life.
I'm like, Dana, do not say dirty. Do not. You're embarrassing this family.
Yeah, don't you dare.
Just describe the ingredients, okay? Describe the ingredients.
Give them assembly instructions. Do not give them the name of what they're assembling. Yeah. Also coming up later, author and activist Matthew Soerens joins us to discuss Skittles. I mean, the refugee crisis.
Wasn't that ridiculous?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously.
So David Crowder, Matthew Soerens, David Crowder. That's how it's going to go. But moving the show along, it's time for our weekly look back at what happened in culture and entertainment. It's time for
In case you missed it.
Hey, in case you missed it, Chris Pratt finally explained why he erected the giant cross in the desert
Crossgate.
over Easter weekend. So he recently visited The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and he was asked about a series of Instagram pictures he posted this spring. You may remember over Easter weekend, Chris Pratt posted several pictures showing him and two friends erecting a giant cross somewhere in the desert without any explanation. Well, this week he went on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert and explained that on Saturday before Easter, he went to visit a few friends who own a ranch in Texas. They told him that they were planning on building a giant cross somewhere on the property, and Pratt, volunteered to help. Here's a clip.
It's an awesome place, and they've got lots of land out there, and they had this big cross, and it was on a Saturday, the day before Easter, and they said, we got this big cross, we gotta hit it, bring it up this great big hill at some point. I said, let's do it right now. And they said, oh, we didn't bring you down here to put you to work. I said, no, I want to do it. And it's Saturday before Easter. If you think about it, that's what Jesus was doing 2,000 something years before on a Saturday before Easter, was carrying a cross up a hill, and so we got after it. It was awesome. It took us like 2 days. The thing was super heavy, but it was just like so rewarding and awesome. We had just it was awesome. Then
well, if you were helping people drag a cross up a hill, I think more people might go to church.
Yeah?
Yeah, if that was the service.
If that was
the
the service?
was helping Chris Pratt drag a cross up a hill, would anyone attend?
Would you come?
So now we know what the next church growth strategy will be for
Chris Pratt.
Cool churches.
Dragging it up a hill.
Yeah, just have Chris Pratt come do manual labor out there. Jesus-related manual labor. Like he could also like shear some vines.
That's true. Yeah, pruning the vines.
Am I right?
Can we talk about?
All right.
Oh, yeah, I get it. Can we talk about Stephen Colbert for a second?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm worried about him.
Wait, worried about
Personally
like
or
the show being
professionally?
successful, or you?
The show.
Oh yeah.
As
yeah,
a man, I
yeah.
think he's fine. But like, what's the guy?
So you're worried about the show?
James Gordon. Gordon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
very good,
Yeah.
and that guy's everywhere.
Yeah.
How in the world are they going to possibly keep him at 12:30?
They can't,
because
they're going to give Colbert one more year.
Right, because they've got to James whatever has already got to be getting offers to do something. He's got to be to replace.
I mean, Apple just signed him.
Yeah, Stephen Colbert was a little bit of like a Letterman replacement, but Letterman was sort of like people watched him for nostalgia, but he's not really the new like either of the Jimmys kind of camp.
And honestly, I feel like Stephen Colbert at this point is more of, maybe this is just my perception, but he's more like a Charlie Rose than a comedian. Like, I would watch a talk show where he's actually talking about substantive things, but I'm not going to watch him for the laughs anymore.
I would have liked him couched on like a 30-minute HBO show where he just gets to be Stephen.
On a couch? And they call it couched
with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah. You know what? And it's an interview show, but they sit side by side on one couch, and it's like super
very
like
uncomfortable.
a couple on the one side of a booth.
No one knows where to look during the interview.
Yeah. So
because if you're sitting side by side, you're not looking at him. That's just strange.
It's weird. Malcolm Gladwell's, phenomenal podcast. I was listening to it on my flight out to LA actually, and there was one on satire, and they had an expert on, or a academician on to talk about specifically Stephen Colbert as the Colbert Report, the satire character, and just the nuance and the intentionality and how important that was. It was just really a fascinating thing. And then to see kind of Stephen Colbert, the normal talk show host, he just lost something.
Yeah.
Because I like him as a person a lot. I think he is the coolest, and I think he's a really good entertainer. But to have James Corden,
but the thing I think what I think it boils down to with Colbert, and I hate to say this, but if I'm just being objective, is outside of character, I don't think he's that funny.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds cold, but if there's a reason that I'm watching one of the other shows, it's I know I'm going to laugh more.
Yeah.
Because like when he's not in character.
He's a good interviewer.
He's still smart and engaging.
He's a good interviewer, and he's quick-witted. He's a good interviewer, but when he was his character, they're writing papers about him.
Right.
I mean, it was something to behold.
I mean, to be offered the Letterman spot, you can't not do that.
Yeah,
I mean, that's just a really. But who I think the best on TV is Samantha Bee. Have you ever watched her show?
She's a little angry.
I feel like
I think she's smart.
There's teeth to her comedy, but
I do think she's angry. But man, I think she's.
I mean, she's got a lot of things to be angry about right now. My thing is, are you going to be the person who's yelling all the time, and then because you're yelling all the time, people tune you out because you're yelling all the time? Like you got like an album has the big hits, but then they have ballads, and the space of the ballads lets the hits stand out.
Yeah, dynamic to it.
And I think Samantha's got this one note. I got a shtick, and granted, the content's there right now because she's got a lot of things to be incredulous about.
Yeah.
Political season, a ton of injustice in the world, and it's hitting, and it's smart. Is it sustainable, or are people going to tune her out? If the weekly news doesn't have a huge thing to be angry about, are you going to still be angry about something that's not worth it? And now you dilute your character.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Maher's done it successfully. There is room for like pretty snarky satire,
that's
and
true.
she's just so smart.
Well, John Oliver's doing it too, but
he's great.
The ironic thing is that the biggest name, arguably in late night, Jimmy Fallon, is now receiving criticism for the exact opposite of that. That he's got no teeth.
Yeah.
That when he has these political candidates on, which he had both major candidates on in the last week, he received criticism, and maybe rightfully so, for essentially avoiding any substantive talk whatsoever.
Yeah.
He was playful with him, and I get you want to humanize candidates, and he, his show is ultimately entertainment, but there was literally like zero substance to that. And is there some responsibility, even if you're a late night comedian, to try to ask somewhat tough questions?
Yeah, because that's what they were comparing it to, when David Letterman had Trump on and, challenged him for making all of his stuff abroad.
Yeah.
His clothing abroad. And so you wonder then, will Colbert stay? Because there should be a place for that. There should be a place for the lighthearted fun. I love everybody. I laugh at everything Jimmy Fallon, and then a bit more of a serious late night thing because I feel like Colbert would have done something more along the lines of what Letterman did.
Yeah. I think it was interesting though, because like Jon Stewart always kind of backed out and said like, no, this is a comedy show. And like, I understand he thinks that, but like, it's really not. Like these satirists are setting the tone of what the country is thinking. Yeah. So I do feel like there's something in between news and pure comedy that's what
the Malcolm Gladwell podcast talks about. I mean, he even like kind of takes SNL on to task for kind of, especially like the Tina Fey, Sarah Palin era, where like she was an amazing satirist, but satire should be used with a purpose and not just to get laughs. Like there's a responsibility of satire to move the needle on the collective consciousness about an issue to use comedy. And so he was actually taking her to task while she was amazing in that character that she just kind of like spoofed, but could have actually kind of helped Palin
that's right.
Versus what SNL would have wanted her to do.
No matter what your opinion is about Sarah Palin, the political figure or her policies, if you're a satirist and you want to point out something absurd about them, even though it seems like the good-natured thing to do to bring them in on the joke, which she did. Sarah Palin appeared with Tina Fey when Tina Fey was in character. Once you bring someone in on the joke, it loses all its teeth. And that was a big criticism of, everything from Jimmy Fallon doing the hair tussle with Donald Trump to putting on a surgical mask with Hillary Clinton. I get that he's wanting the tone of his show. It isn't, hard-hitting political commentary, but you lose your ability to make any sort of pointed commentary at all if the person that you're making jokes about is laughing with you. Right as you're making
That's actually the cover. I haven't read it yet, but the cover of Time magazine this week is about that. It's about all the late night hosts, and it says, "We joke, you decide," and just talking about their influence or lack of influence on the political process.
In case you missed it, this week Andy Mineo beefed with Esquire magazine and Wiz Khalifa over a Stranger Things themed remix. And then Esquire publicly apologized to Andy Mineo and his fans.
This is some drama, you guys.
Yeah, it is. I mean, this is Tupac Biggie level stuff.
I barely understand any of this.
Okay, so the drama started when Wiz Khalifa,
Wizard Khalifa,
correct, Wizard Khalifa, released a track that sampled the theme song to the Netflix series Stranger Things, called, as you guessed it, Stranger Things. Here is a clip of Wizard Khalifa.
Is this scary?
Okay, here it is.
Now everybody getting stranger. I think I'm in danger. Gotta wake my game up. Gotta stay the same. Watching everybody change. Oh, now they getting stranger.
Okay, there you go. Okay. Well, not long after, the magazine Esquire wrote about the track. Here's what they said. TV theme songs are always mined for hip-hop samples. So with Stranger Things, the Netflix series that became the biggest hit of the summer, it was just a question of who would get to it first. That person is Wiz Khalifa. The only problem, as hip-hop artist Andy Mineo noted on Twitter, Wiz wasn't first. Andy had recently released a Stranger Things inspired track called Upside Down. Here it is.
Stranger things have happened, and a white boy like me blacking. On the track, I'm going bad again. Got a baddie and she going Randy Savage. All I know is that family matters. All I know when I came in rapping, if you jack somebody else flowing style, then you gon' get a black eye like.
So then,
this is drama.
So then Andy tweeted to Esquire, "Oh, really? He got there first? That's really strange," all caps. Everybody go troll at Esquire and let them know who did it first. So he called his minions to go troll Esquire.
So was Wizard upset?
He has like 250,000 followers.
Yeah. So then after the backlash from Mineo fans, Esquire actually updated their story, adding this. Andy Mineo had technically already released a track that sampled the Stranger Things theme, though I had never heard it until today. It turns out his is actually far better than Wiz's song.
Yeah.
So, and then Esquire tweeted like an apology to Andy Mineo and his fans with this updated article link. So there you go.
Did Wizard Khalifa get in it at all, or was he quiet?
I mean, what's he going to say? What's he going to say? Because one, they were wrong that he didn't do it first. Two, they straight up said, your song isn't as good as this other guy's.
Well, that's unkind.
Yeah.
It's
they could have
unkind,
just
but
left it
the
as
truth
you
hurts.
were
It is true.
Did you do any Stranger Things before either of them that we could help you out on,
I
Channing?
thought about it, but no.
Yeah, not enough
I was
time.
going to do a Stranger Things version of the Pokemon Go theme song at one point.
Oh, yeah.
but
What is the
it's like-
Pokemon Go
Well-
theme song? How's it go again? I haven't listened to it in a while. Doo-doo-doo. That's it?
Yeah. Well, that's the cartoon theme song. The Pokemon Go theme song is a little different.
That would be amazing if every time you
This
turn
is legit, real talk. This is a good song.
Yeah. I think it's pretty good.
Hey, that's Pokemon Go.
But yeah, for internet points, I thought it might be a good idea to try and do like a Stranger Things version, synth 80s feel. But it kind of already has that, so I decided to not do it.
That's true. That's true.
Back to Stranger Things for a second. I will say marketing is always like, I love watching movies or shows and being like, oh, product placement. But Eggos in Stranger Things, I feel like was just solely because it was such a thing of our time. And so I was at Costco after watching Stranger Things, and there's a huge box of Eggos. And I was like walking over to the freezer case, and I almost got them. And I was like, no, it's you don't need 200 Eggos from Costco. And thankfully
That's where
I didn't.
you're wrong.
But thankfully I didn't, because did you guys hear that there's now like a recall because there was like a listeria or however you call it?
Yeah. Eggos are all poisonous now.
So I guess so many people were buying them, and then they got sick.
Can I ask, we were talking about Pokemon theme songs and Stranger Things. How did we get to Eggo recalls?
Because it's in
That's like a
Stranger
main thing
Things.
in Stranger
Oh,
Things.
that's
She
right.
likes Eggos.
It's kind of helpful during our show, though, not to ever ask that question. Because we really have an impressive ability to get from...
Just
I track
trust
along.
us.
You know we do, but we have a good, like, I realized the Stephen Colbert thing.
Yeah.
It was like Chris Pratt with a cross.
Yeah.
We were like, I don't have time for that. I need to talk about late night. This is how I want to derail that.
All right. In case you missed it, this week Jay-Z made a short film for the New York Times that makes a strong case against the war on drugs and for justice reform. He teamed up with artist Molly Crabapple, that's a good name, to explain how unfair drug laws have led to mass incarceration, giving America the world's largest prison population, and how drug laws have disproportionately targeted people of color. Here is a clip from the documentary.
In the 1990s, incarceration rates in the U.S. blew up. Today, we imprison more people than any other country in the world. China, Russia, Iran, Cuba. All countries we consider autocratic and repressive. Yeah, more than them. Judges' hands were tied by tough on crime laws, and they were forced to hand out mandatory life sentences for simple possession and low-level drug sales. My home state of New York started this with Rockefeller laws. Then the feds made distinctions between people who sold powder cocaine and crack cocaine, even though they were the same drug. Only difference is how you take it. And even though white people used and sold crack more than black people, somehow it was black people who went to prison. The media ignored actual data to this day. Crack is still talked about as a black problem. The NYPD raided our Brooklyn neighborhoods while Manhattan bankers openly used coke with impunity. The war on drugs exploded the U.S. prison population, disproportionately locking away black and Latinos. Our prison population grew more than 900%. When the war on drugs began in 1971, our prison population was 200,000. Today it is over 2 million.
Hey, you imagine how that would sound if there was a fat beat underneath that?
That's literally what I was going to say.
He talks in such good time.
I think everything he's saying is so incredible, but he keeps his same hip hop cadence, so it was a bit distracting because I kept being like, "When's it gonna drop? When's it gonna drop?"
You know, what'd be really cool is if you put the Stranger theme thing under that.
He'll be first to think of that.
I only hear Jay Farrow.
As we've written about before in Relevant, more and more advocates are actually calling for measures to reform the criminal justice system, saying that not only are the current laws unfair, but they also are expensive and ineffective at stopping crime. Jack Cole is a retired police officer and founder of the group Law Enforcement Against Prohibition. He explained to us earlier this year, and it was in a issue of Relevant. Here's what he said. About 4 million people above the age of 12 in the United States used an illegal drug in 1970. Before we started the war, 4 million people. Today, the DEA tells us we have 121 million people above the age of 12 who've consumed an illegal drug in the U.S. So we went from 2% drug users to 46% drug users under the war on drugs. It's hard for me to even contemplate how we could have come up with a worse policy if what we really wanted to do was reduce drug abuse. It's compelling. The piece got quite a bit of feedback when we ran that.
Yeah, it's controversial because I think there's two ways to look at it. Because one is, the sense of morality, where if you are a Christian, and you think the biblical prohibition against like something like drunkenness also extends to other forms of mind-altering intoxication, so that, a lot of Christians have a moral stand against a lot of different types of drug use. But when you look at it pragmatically, if your goal is to prevent drug abuse and people that are really having their lives ruined by it, by addiction, then it may sound counterintuitive, but the reality is that just making it illegal, a blanket across the board, can do more harm than good. You take out, you put in a process that's entirely punitive instead of any sort of rehabilitation, and you offer no safe alternatives, only deadly options, and the consequences are really dramatic.
They talk about in that article too of like between the 70s and now, like the access to drugs that are more and more addictive, like meth and things like that. Was that around? Was meth around in the 60s? I don't even know.
Well, I mean, this is a whole separate conversation, but I mean, the prevalence of some of these more dangerous drugs, they're linked to making other safer alternatives that were more popular, legal, like marijuana. Yeah. Because meth is cheaper and easier to create than it is to grow marijuana in mass quantities. You can link a lot of these more dangerous addictive alternatives to two things. One is the illegalization of marijuana, and two is the prevalence of addictive pharmaceuticals that rely on opiates, and that people get addicted to them, but they can no longer obtain them legally because of how our drug classification system, the difference between a class 1, 2, and 3 drug is set up, that they're turning to more dangerous, cheaper options on the street.
In case you missed it, a new comedy about the Antichrist is in the works. It's called Little Evil, and Adam Scott from Parks and Rec plays a man who finds the woman of his dreams, played by Evangeline Lilly from Lost, only to find out after they get married that her 6-year-old little boy just so happens to be the Antichrist himself, and hilarity ensues.
This is actually a prequel to the new Left Behind series. It's, they want to get way out ahead of it and just start with the Antichrist as a kid. I think the comic twist is interesting.
If this show goes well, that little kid is not going to age well in that role.
Oh.
Like, you got to be a little kid to make that funny, because when he's 14, it's like, gosh.
It's why they had to stop making Home Alone movies. Because if Macaulay Culkin at some point is like 17 and there's a home invasion movie, it's just not as endearing when he's like torturing them.
That's true. Yeah, no, you're just a masochist. Okay, and lastly, in case you missed it, this is a big one.
This combined a lot of things I love in one moment.
One of the things that I like to do, because I'm an adult, when I run errands on a Saturday, is pop on the NPR.
Yeah.
You're gonna catch a little wait, don't tell me on a Saturday morning. They record it live on Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. in Central Time in Chicago, Illinois.
Yep.
So if I'm going out for a little lunch errand, wait's on. If you don't know what Wait, Don't Tell Me is, it's just kind of a news quiz. It happens every Saturday, and it's funny. They have comedians on. They'll have a guest on. They do crowd interaction, and it's just literally like, how well did you follow the news this week? So it's a thinking man's comedy show. Yeah. Anyway, so this week the guest was Chris Thiel, who's taking over as the host of A Prairie Home Companion for Garrison Keillor, who's famously retiring this month. And so Chris Thiel is coming on. Now, who's Chris Thiel? Now, he is the lead singer of the group Nickel Creek. So he's bringing some kind of hipster indie cred to the scene.
Yes.
It's a really kind of an interesting shift.
Punch Brothers also. Nickel Creek, formerly Punch Brothers currently.
There you go.
Chris Thiel. He's the best mandolin player of all time.
So Chris Thiel comes on Nickel Creek. So they decided to do a humor quiz with him about another band that Nickel Creek gets confused with, for people who don't listen to music, Nickelback.
Which is a super messed up confusion.
A super messed up
If you're wanting
confusion.
one and you get the other, whichever direction you are talking about.
So they're kind of poking Chris Thiel that, he's the lead singer of Nickelback. Here's some and then, no, you're not in Nickel Creek. But here, how well do you know Nickelback? Here's 3 questions about Nickelback. Question number 2. Now, this is a multiple choice thing.
Yeah.
What they'll do is say 3 items of like a news item or a fact about the subject. And then you have to pick which one of these is true. Okay.
Right.
So there's a multiple question. Here is the question that kind of got our attention.
Now, despite their reputation, Nickelback has done some good in this world, as in which of these examples? A, in their contract rider for their concerts, they stipulate that their leftover backstage Red Bull and vodka must be donated to nearby homeless shelters. B, in 2015, a man was able to raise $36,000 for charity by agreeing to listen to Nickelback 24/7 for a week. Or C, they participated in a public awareness campaign warning young men against using flammable brands of hair mousse.
I'm going to go with B this time.
B, and the man who raised $36,000, you are right. He said, if you donate to this charity, I will listen to Nickelback 24/7 for a week. And it worked. He raised all that money. He said, quote, when you're listening to this much consecutive Nickelback, it feels like 1 week is 7 weeks.
Jesse Carey got a laugh on Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Yeah, well, my only thing is like he kind of butchered my joke there a little.
You want to do it?
Because I said when you're
again?
listening to that volume of Nickelback, time turns into dog years, and that's why. That's why 7.
It is better.
But whatever, I'll give him a pass.
Your joke was the Andy Mineo of jokes. His was the Wiz Khalifa.
Man, I had a lot of Nickelback jokes that week. I felt like the writers, they could have contacted me. I would have happily contributed
Jesse,
to Punchline.
how did you find out that you were referenced on Wait, Don't Tell Me?
This is a crazy story too, because I was on Saturday morning. I went on a bike ride and I put it, and as you do when you're running errands on Saturday morning, I really enjoy the Saturday morning NPR lineup because they play Wait, Don't Tell Me. They play the new This American Life. So I was streaming it on my phone, and I heard the question come up.
You heard
live.
It no way.
Yeah.
Did you like fall over? I mean,
I know. I wish I could have seen your face.
That's
with your
crazy.
Here's the thing though, when Nickelback came up as a topic, I knew at that point the chances are probably 80% that if they're making Nickelback jokes, that our challenge is probably going to make an appearance. I feel like it's going to follow me for the rest of my life. It's the joke that will never die.
When their show writers were trying to look for like obscure Nickelback trivia that would trip people up or whatever, and you Google Nickelback at any point right now, you are in near the top of the search results. I mean, like the internet will never let anybody forget about this. I told Jesse at a meeting the other day, this will be in his eulogy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
of course.
This is what unfortunately when I'm long gone and my kids are like thinking about my legacy. Like I was telling Cameron, like my grandfather was like a war hero. He has like medals, okay, from war. What they're going to remember from me is, oh, cool, my dad listened to Nickelback for a week, and oh yeah, he was a joke on NPR one time. A joke on NPR. My parents, my friends' parents are going to think I'm really cool now.
You should have one lucky listener record your message on their home answering machine at the end of the show.
Oh yeah,
Jesse Carey should get it. That would make me really happy.
I love how the other two multiple choice there were completely implausible. It could only have been one.
It could have only been B.
Our Twitter account, the Relevant Podcast Twitter account, blew up over the weekend where everybody was like, my head just exploded. My podcast worlds have collided. Like Jesse Carey just appeared on Wait, Don't Tell Me, or was referenced. It's amazing, man.
Yeah, truly, I have arrived.
So 2 years ago, it was the Nickelback Challenge. You raised $36,000, and the internet is still talking about it. And then this year, you did Trapped in the Cage, where you watched 24 hours of Nicolas Cage movies. You raised over $30,000.
Which I heard also through the grapevine and through Twitter that, are you guys familiar with the Dan Le Batard show?
Yeah.
He's a ESPN syndicated radio show host, and I guess they have some sort of. I don't listen to his show. Right, I'm aware of him, but that he comes on early in the day. I don't really listen to him, but they have some sort of like board of death challenge, right, where people on their show, are forced to do sort of these different challenges involving sports, predictions or whatever. Anyway, one of the spots that someone on the show can land on is they have to watch Nicolas Cage movies for 12 hours straight.
12 hours?
Yeah, big deal. If you're going to take our idea, go in all the way.
Or double it or go bigger.
Yeah, thank you.
If you're going to copy, improve on it.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Stand on the shoulders
I like
of
to
giants.
think that our pop culture challenges are making some sort of impact out there.
I still think we need to keep with the Nick theme for next year's charity challenge. We got to figure that out.
Nick Wallenda.
Hey, I'm going. Speaking of you raising money for Charity Water, last year I did my birthday for Charity Water too, and was able to raise enough money to build a well. I'm going with Scott Harrison and the team out to Ethiopia in March for the week of my birthday next year to see the wells that we've built.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I'll see the Nickelback wells and take pictures and report back.
Please.
Can you bring cardboard cutouts of the band and Jesse and take next to the well?
Oh, that'd be
I'm sure they'll love that. The band has been so receptive so far.
Yeah, they've been like super into this thing the whole time.
No,
Can you at least wear an Affliction shirt the day you go as a hat tip to them as good sports? Yeah. That is your Donald Trump hair tussle. You frosting your tips.
Yeah, gotta frost them.
And growing a goatee.
I gotta wear the metal ball necklace as well.
You wearing that the day you visit that well, I feel like is an olive branch to them.
Hey, when you raise enough money to fully fund a well through Charity Water, you get the opportunity of naming it on the GPS. Yeah. Did you name your Nickelback wells? Because you built almost 4 of them. Three full ones.
I don't think I remember some correspondence. Here's the thing. I don't think I wanted to call them Nickelback wells just because I didn't want the people that had to go and drink out of them every day to literally have to look at the name Nickelback every time they wanted fresh water. I just felt that wasn't right. I can't remember the name, but they're not called Nickelback wells. But again,
so then I'm just the random guy with frosted tips and an Affliction shirt walking around.
You should name them. You should name them after Nickelback songs.
Cameron, it's an olive branch. It's not going to be. It's going to be uncomfortable.
What are the names of Nickelback songs that you could name them? That would be like still feel like expiring.
Members, aren't there 4 members?
So you think that each of the wells should be named after a member of Nickelback?
Yeah, Ricky, Donald.
I'm pretty sure it's like Chad, Brock, Brody, and just.
I love how you act like you don't really know their names. I think it's Chad, Brock, Brody.
And so you fully funded.
I was just trying to think of the most bro names I could think of.
You fully funded 3 wells with Nicolas Cage. So clearly Nicolas Cage has to be naming one of the wells.
Yeah, I think, because no one's going to have a problem drinking from a Nicolas Cage well.
Or Nicolas Cage 2.
It's not the
or
same.
Nicolas Cage 3.
Yeah.
We can do better than Nicolas Cage 2 and 3.
Well, you can't do better than Nicolas Cage.
You could do the Left Behind well.
Mm-hmm. Face Off.
That might be a little scary.
The Face Off well?
Yeah.
So like if you drink of this water, your face will fall off? That would be a bad implication.
No.
Do they actually put up a little sign at the well, or is it just like your GPS coordinates and you named it? But there's not like a little plaque there that says like the.
You know what I'm going to do when I'm there? I'm going to install a little plaque.
A little plaque.
Bring a little plaque.
Yeah, it's like going to the moon. You just
Scott's like, what are you doing? I'm like, don't worry, I got some plexi glue here. Don't worry, I don't need to drill or anything.
Like you're actually destroying the well, but whatever.
the plexi glue is going to seep in and taint the water.
We'll fix it.
All right, that'll do it for In Case You Missed It. Stay tuned. Up next, Slices.
Set me free from my jealousy. Won't you exercise my mind? Won't you exercise my mind? I want to be free as I'll ever be. Exercise my mind. Help me exercise my mind. Desdemona, won't you liberate me when I'm haunted by your ancient history? Close these green eyes and watch over as I sleep through my darkest of dreams. Be the power.
You're listening to The Steel. The song is Send Them Off. Send Them Off. Yeah, their new album is really good. It all sounds like Bastille, but if you like Bastille, all the songs sound like Bastille. At the beginning of the podcast,
there's nothing wrong with sounding like Bastille.
Especially if you are Bastille.
Yeah, right. I mean, you don't want somebody else to sound like Bastille.
Particularly if you are the band
Bastille. At the beginning of the podcast, you heard Reliant K with the song Bummin'.
We're back in it.
It's a good song. You heard it. It's good.
Delightful.
There you go.
My first show. Reliant K.
What? Your first concert you ever attended?
Mm-hmm.
Really? Mine was
crazy.
Without my parents.
Mine was Mylon Lefebvre and Broken Heart.
Wait.
But I was with mom and dad.
Wait. That was the first concert without your parents?
Yeah, I was 13.
What was the first concert with your parents?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Mine was Steve Green.
Anyway,
I love Christian kids.
I know.
I don't think to this day I've ever attended a concert with my parents.
Well, you're cooler than all of us, Jesse, okay?
You haven't?
I still go to concerts with my
He would
parents.
drive himself as an 8-year-old down to the Civic Center.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, like, I think if my parents went to a concert, I don't think they were bringing me and my brother along. But I don't even know. Maybe like a Michael McDonald or like an Eagles concert or something,
sweet.
but I never attended with them.
Yeah, I saw Pink Floyd with my dad at like Tampa Stadium when I was like 9. That was kind of a weird move on a dad part. But
Your dad move?
I went and saw
kinda
Michael
was.
McDonald last year with my parents.
Michael
How was it?
McDonald.
It was awesome.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Dude, Michael McDonald is like
I put on Michael McDonald vinyl last night.
Yeah.
I know he's talented, but it's just such a like you'd see him on PBS, right? During the where they're trying to raise money.
My mom grew up on like Motown and gospel, and then in the 80s, the worship movement started, and so after the late 80s Maranatha music and the Hosanna, but all she listens to now is worship, right? And that's it. But in the 80s, we had the transition as a family where she was coming out of her R&B Motown, discovered yacht rock, and it was pre-worship. And so my car rides as a kid was like Joy 108, and it was all Michael McDonald and stuff like that. That's what I grew up on.
Dude, Michael McDonald's the best.
Mine was all the Beaches soundtrack on tape.
So
Freaking
the
Bette
bridge
Midler
between-
every morning of my life. I still, every time I hear Wind Beneath My Wings, I just shudder. I'm like, oh, that stupid song.
So Cameron, for your mom, the bridge between Motown and Hosanna worship was yacht rock?
Kind of, yeah. It was.
Kind of in a weird way.
It was Hall & Oates.
Because, can I be honest with you?
James Taylor, Hall & Oates, all that stuff, yeah.
I feel like yacht rock is the most debauched form of music on earth.
No way! It is wonderful! I have a yacht rock playlist on Spotify that I made. Oh,
Wait, I gotta be honest. What does yacht stand for?
No, yacht, like a
It's
boat.
you wear a little captain's hat and you're out on a yacht.
Wearing your polo.
And it stood for something.
Boat shoes.
Yeah, you're wearing boat shoes, polo, got your little
Acronym.
captain's hat on. You're listening to some Captain and Tennille. You're having a good day.
Cameron, the lifestyle they're promoting, you know what goes on those yachts.
I was 8. I didn't know what was going
That's a
on.
subversive sound, man.
I didn't know at all.
Hey, listen, they pull out from port, and when that yacht rock's playing, don't go out there.
No,
okay?
Christopher Cross, when sailing comes on, it just takes me away. You know what I'm saying?
That
I
is
don't
a
know
good
where
song.
they're taking me, but I'm floating.
You don't want to know. That's the point.
Okay, it's time for Slices. What do you have, Jesse?
All right, guys. Well, I have what can only be described as a disturbing update. And I hesitate to even bring this up to even bring the whole cast down today.
Oh, no.
But I feel like it's my duty. For the last few months, I've been going down a sick rabbit hole to see how deep this thing is. It all started back when the lid got blown off Big Floss a few months ago. You guys remember?
Big Floss is still, I think, one of my favorite things you've ever said.
We found out that the whole floss myth has been a lie perpetrated on us by the dental industry to get us to keep forking over $2 every other month for their silly string.
Yeah.
Okay? So
And you just want
I've
those
been very
popcorn kernels in
distrusting
your
of the
teeth.
dental industry my entire life. And this is just sparked something in me.
Yeah.
So I've had to continue my research.
Yeah.
Guys, this goes deeper than we ever imagined here. Who's the crazy one now? Because all of a sudden, big wisdom, I'm questioning. Big dental x-ray, I'm questioning. Big biannual teeth cleaning, I'm questioning. The house of cards is coming down right before our eyes. Here is what I have found. This is from several different reports, including from marketplace.com, the New York Times, and as you'll hear, an actual dental consultant.
the wool has been pulled over our eyes. So let's take myth number one, that we need our teeth cleaned twice a year. Everyone's heard that, right?
Yeah.
That you need to go for your biannual teeth cleanings. Well, how does that stack up to the science? According to a 2005 evidence-based dental industry systematic review, the conclusions are that there is no sufficient evidence that can draw any conclusions that these biannual cleanings are actually beneficial.
Was this study done in Great Britain?
No, this was an American-based study. So then the Alabama Children's Health Insurance Program found that for the most part, one annual preventative visit for children, this is just going once a year, was not even cost-effective. They're bringing you in, they're cashing your checks, and they're sending you on your way, and you don't even need it. Then another person for the New York Times looked at if an adult without dental problems, there's little evidence to support that yearly dental x-rays are even needed. So they're pushing cleanings on us and our kids, and they're pushing x-rays. Now here, this is what I have found the most disturbing. Real quick, around the table, do you guys have wisdom teeth?
Yeah, no, I don't.
I have all wisdom teeth. Only wisdom
Eddie,
teeth.
You have not. You don't have your wisdom teeth.
Okay,
removed.
well, you said you have all wisdom teeth. I thought you were saying that all of the teeth in your mouth were wisdom teeth.
They are. They're all like those double-decker weird teeth in the back.
That explains your lack of smiling. I understand.
Yeah, it's a very odd thing.
They're all you have all wisdom teeth, and they're all impacted.
Yes, I took all my wisdom teeth out. It was it was a joke that didn't work. What I just said. So,
so none of us have wisdom teeth. We have no wisdom on this podcast. That explains a lot.
Chandler, do you know if you have wisdom teeth or not? It feels like you would know that.
I do not have. They were removed when I was 18.
Let me guess. Let me guess. Some quote unquote dentist told you needed them out.
Right.
Mine were growing in sideways and made my teeth crooked and had to get braces.
Oh, is that what they told you? Is that what they told you? Well, I got news for you. Well, guess what? In fact, that they were impacted, right? Well, one of the claims of surgeon that if you leave these impacted teeth in place like yours, Chandler, that there's a chance they'll cause future problems. Well, guess what? A researcher found that only happens in less than 1% of the time.
Wow.
I was duped.
Yeah, you were duped. By the way, speaking of all wisdom teeth,
it's not cheap to take those things out. You're getting a dental bill.
I know.
Hey, you might be onto something, Cameron, because it costs at least $600 for the procedure. So, according to Jay Friedman, researcher and dental consultant in Los Angeles, if you were to reduce the amount of extractions on average, each dental practice would lose, on average, $500,000 a year.
No way. So this is literally 99% of the patients do not need to have their wisdom teeth taken out.
If they're impacted, regular wisdom teeth, 80% of the time, there will be no further problems in your life. So if you have impacted wisdom teeth, there's a less than 1% chance that it's ever going to have any problems, even though they told you need them out, like Chandler over there. And if you have regular wisdom teeth, there's an 80% chance you're never going to have a problem with them in your life.
Okay, we need to talk to a dentist. I texted my dentist to see if she's available, and we'll see.
Wait,
if
you're
she's
on
here.
a text basis with your dentist?
Mm-hmm, obviously.
I don't know, Eddie. I'm not sure I can trust you.
He's a frequent flyer.
That's $500,000, right?
Yeah. Your teeth are your best friend.
I don't know if she's going to have an honest answer.
And she has talked to me. I talked to her about your big floss theory, and she shot it down. It took her 2 sentences.
I'm sorry. The theory that was proposed by scientists who looked at research, not someone who this is their living. And you don't see the problem with this, Eddie, that you're getting your information from somebody who makes their living at this.
I don't remember. It was a couple weeks ago.
I don't trust her. I want no dentist on this podcast.
Jesse, I'm not saying that I floss every day by any means, but when I do, it feels really good, and you do get those popcorn kernels.
Well, you have the velvet floss
movie premiere out of your teeth.
Yeah.
So what do you just want to let it build up?
I'm Joy. I'm simply telling you what the science says. You can believe that Santa Claus comes to your house every Christmas if you want to, but I'm here to tell you you've been living a lie.
We really need to get a medical professional on the show.
Real quick, I went back to Eddie's point about him having the joke that didn't land about him having all wisdom teeth.
I mean, it was a very bad joke, in fairness.
But have you guys noticed? Have you guys ever seen? This is absolutely true. That Nick Jonas has 3 front teeth. Nick Jonas. This is true. I'm not making this up. I didn't plan on talking about this. This is a whole other
What do you mean?
conspiracy.
Oh, like he's got a center one and then 2, like a right and a left?
Did you discover this from not looking up directly in the eyes?
Okay,
on,
time out.
I'm looking it up.
Okay.
I'm
calling time. We're podcast diversion here. If you're listening on a mobile device, or if you're in front of a computer while you're listening, Google Nick Jonas 3 front teeth. I'm not lying.
Yeah.
It's not like he has 2 normal ones and then just an accidental other one. No,
Yeah.
it's legit 3 right in a row. 3 giant front teeth.
Dude, I typed in the Google search, I typed in Nick Jonas, and then it auto-filled Nick Jonas 3 teeth, Nick Jonas 3 front teeth. That's what my options were in the drop down on Google.
Go to the image search.
Well, and the first image that came up for me was him smiling, and someone had drawn 1, 2, 3 on the teeth.
It's true.
I'm gonna never be able to unsee
You can't
that.
unsee that.
How do you do that?
Hey, Chandler, I feel like if you were to talk to Nick Jonas, you'd have to use the bridge of his nose trick. Because otherwise he would know. Otherwise he would know. It's like you Googled the 3 teeth thing, didn't you? I'm not going to see all your like we're trying to have a conversation here. We're trying to have a conversation, and you're clearly just looking at my 3 front teeth.
That's amazing. All right, what do you have, Joy?
That is really something.
Sorry, Joy, real quick. Can we make an editorial house rule real quick, Cameron? If we ever refer to Nick Jonas in print, that it says Nick Jonas, comma, who has 3 front teeth, comma, and whatever it is about him.
Yeah, no matter what it's about. All right. He could be pulling up a hill with Chris Pratt, and we would say Chris Pratt and Nick Jonas, comma, who has 3 front teeth, comma, we're dragging across up a hill.
Billboard reports that Nick Jonas, comma, who has 3 front teeth, comma, has the number 1 album in the country. Parentheses, Nick Jonas has 3 front teeth.
And you know, right now, 150,000 people who are listening to this podcast are pulling their phones out and Googling Nick Jonas right now.
Look, but this isn't me saying anything bad about him. I'm just saying
he's a great guy. Super nice dude. Super nice guy.
Even if we reference Nick Jonas in a headline, it has to be Nick Jonas, comma, who has 3 front teeth, comma.
All right. What do you have, Joy?
All right. Well, before I get to my slice, Jesse, when you said you were on a downward spiral on the internet for this, made me think of, and we're not going to be able to talk about it, but none of you have seen it, but has anybody seen the Tickled documentary?
No. Nope.
I'm aware of it.
Okay. It's in the same vein, I think, as Jinx. It's obviously not, well, it's still pretty dark, but it's just has to deal with people that are very, very wealthy and power and whatnot. But it's fascinating if you like Jinx. So you guys watch it and we'll talk about it sometime. Okay. So my slice, though, is on the topic we've talked about, Crowder's goatee, going to a beard, trying to stay with the times, Chris Pratt as a church growth strategy. So my question for you guys is, what kind of things has your church done to try and keep up with the times?
Sometimes my pastor will flip a chair around backwards.
Yeah.
And
preaching on the stool.
Things will get uncomfortable, things will get real. We'll start doing a little life and, just sip a cup of cappuccinos and,
It's not a sermon. It's a conversation.
All right. Well, so in Japan, which is primarily a Buddhist country, a lot of, over the years, people have moved from rural communities that have a temple to the bigger cities for work. And now Japan's at a point where 70% of their people identify as not religious or even atheist. But when it comes to certain ceremonial practices, they still, in the traditional sense, want to, whether it's they do like a year remembrance after somebody's died, and there's this whole ceremony that you do. And so there's not, they don't, in the rural communities, they have their temples. In these bigger cities, they don't have them as much. And so this company came up with a solution. They said, for the people who still want to perform these ceremonies and want them in their home, but they need a Buddhist priest, we will create a company where you can purchase a priest for a set amount of money to come to your home. Well, it totally took off because people wanted this. And now Amazon has picked them up. And so you can literally in Japan go onto Amazon and order a Buddhist priest, and he will show up at your home and perform the ceremony.
Oddly, combined with drone delivery, it's been a very tragic story.
Jetpack delivery.
Wow.
Yeah, isn't that fascinating? And another thing, the reason that they really like it is because the culture of the temples in Japan, or maybe all Buddhist temples, I'm not for sure, are that they never put prices on things. And so there's kind of this thing of like, pay what you will, but it's this uncomfortable thing for people where they feel like they need to pay a ton because they haven't been going to the temple or whatnot. Whereas this is just straight. It's, 35,000 yen for this ceremony. But now the controversy that's happening is that just like religious institutions all around the world, they get these big tax breaks because it's a nonprofit. But now that it's turned into this kind of like Buddhist priest for-profit company, they're kind of going, so do we need to tax them differently? So that's what they're dealing with. But
so what would like the Christian equivalent of that be? Like having a pastor paying a pastor on Amazon?
Streaming. No, like I think how we've tried to like say, oh, you don't have to come to church anymore. You can stream it at home. You can give online. I don't know if the Christian equivalent of having a pastor come and do a private service in your home and ordering off of Amazon if we're at that point. But I do think you see similarities all around the world of where, people are trying to meet the needs of the audience or the people.
I'd like they could just stream a wedding or just push play on a video. Just something just deeply impersonal.
Just so you wouldn't have to attend.
Yeah, they just push play and it's like the bride and the groom look at each other. They just use like real generic pronouns for the entire thing, and that's all you need. It's not even real.
I mean, I guess I think a lot of people who wouldn't identify as religious in America kind of do a similar thing with hiring a pastor for a funeral ceremony. And there's not a cost that the pastor charges, but usually you give them a donation.
How does that get started? Like, does Amazon call and decide like, hey, we want to do this? Or is somebody like, list me on Amazon?
There is a for-profit company that saw this as a need, started it,
you just call Amazon? This seems like a minor point to your slice. Forget it.
Are you wondering how to get yourself listed on Amazon?
No,
to do
I'm
this
just
in the
wondering
US?
like how they get this crazy junk on Amazon.
Joy, I need a couple more details. Like hypothetically, let's say there's a guy in America who could really use some extra money. Okay, just hear me out here.
Is
there a number? Can you say the number while I write it down on this piece of paper? I'm listening.
Just kind of dig into the details of how one would do this. Should one want to do this?
Did the article?
No, it was started.
Joy, hypothetically, should one need some money right now and be willing to sell a variety of services on Amazon
ASAP?
There is a number, is what you're saying that I call. Okay.
And how do I get connected with a drone that can deliver me?
A drone that could lift,
just a grown
racquetball
man.
Enthusiast, of a certain size.
Carry me over there. Drop me at someone's house from 30 feet or less.
I would say I'm about the size. I don't know. About a Buddhist monk, okay? So I know the technology is there. So what I'm trying to establish is you can't get around this. The technology's there. We know that. We know you're zipping these guys all over the place.
Okay, I don't think it's a drone situation. The other day on the internet, I saw a jet ski race a guy on a jetpack, wearing a jetpack.
No, it was like a
hoverboard. Yeah,
dude,
over a lake.
It's so insane.
And the hoverboard was incredibly fast.
Yeah.
And beat the jet ski. And so, but it wasn't just like a straight line. It was like zigzag back and forth, course. And the jet ski was smoked. So I think that's what it is. You got these little like hoverboards that you just step up on and you're off and going.
Yeah, I don't need to know any backstory. They don't need to do the prepare and enrich. We just marry them and get out of there.
And then you just jump on your hoverboard and off you go.
Off we go. Done. And marry the next person.
To the next one.
100% divorce rate. No way they're going to make it.
Yeah. Okay, what do you have, Eddie?
A gentleman from Perth, Australia, was on holiday, as he called it, in Nashville. And in
Why would somebody
By
from
the way,
Perth?
that throws me off every time.
That he was from Perth?
When I hear someone... I mean, I don't trust people from Perth.
Yeah.
But when I hear someone refer to vacation as holiday.
Yeah, it's a little...
that always throws me
You
off.
need to travel more, man.
It's-
90% of the world calls it that.
C.S. Lewis does.
I know, but what I'm saying, every time I hear it, it's like, well, what's the holiday? What is the holiday? Did you just make one up, or are you on vacation? You know?
You're on holiday is different than a holiday.
The other thing, too, is the guys from Australia...
Just like when you're on a chair, it's different than being a chair.
Do you understand? Okay. Do you get it?
I still don't trust the people of Perth, but continue, Eddie.
And we're also bearing the part of it that a guy from Australia went to Nashville for a vacation.
Yeah, that's bizarre.
That's kind of like New York, LA, Orlando even. Come see Disney World. But we're just getting hot chicken 3/4 of the way around the world. So he's on holiday in Nashville, and apparently he's having a late night, and he walks out and he faces the conundrum that we've all faced. Do I get a hamburger or a hot dog? What does he get?
He's going to go hot dog.
Nailed it. He got both of them. So he gets both of them, and he's in his car, and he is double fisting a hamburger and a hot dog. Takes a bite of one. Takes a bite.
As one does.
Right, takes a bite of the other. He's not going to eat one at a time. He's going back and forth. His wife starts to make fun of him, but he starts to say, this is a delicious combination. This man has since gone back to Australia and has gone back to Australia and has patented and appeared on Australian Shark Tank with his invention, the ham dog. So let me explain to you what a ham dog is. And I know that this is an audio medium, but I'm pretty sure I can do it justice. Cut a hamburger in half, put a hot dog, put those two halves beside the hot dog. So it looks like, if you look at the bun looks like Saturn.
So I have a question. Why do you need to go to Shark Tank to do that?
Well, he patented the whole ham dog idea.
Real quick, Eddie, what did he possibly ask for on Shark Tank? Because, let's say he's asking for, it
was probably a $600 million valuation.
$15 million. Yeah, $15 million for 3%. Let's say he's looking for equity in his company, right? That he needs cash for something. What is that something?
What is the ask though? Is it a restaurant he's trying to start?
I have a utility patent on the bun making process.
Bun making process.
Right, because the buns are very different and hard to make.
Most impressive part for sure is
I have figured out a way to cut hamburgers in half at an incredibly fast rate and fuse them back onto the sides of a hot dog. Patented. You can't do that.
Yeah.
So I've been selling them for $6 in Australian money, which I think is about the same as American money. And I would like a patent. $10 million valuation. Are you in or out? That's
Did
it.
he get it?
He did not get it. Oh, God, no. They did not invest in him. They thought it was a terrible idea. But he has all the patents also secured.
Wait, global patents? Or can we in the U.S. just hear this about this Perth guy?
Well, this is why I bring it back to us, because I know we have some Australian listeners, and I'm sure they're well...
Eddie, I have a question, though.
Yeah.
Like, legally, is there anything stopping me from going to my kitchen right now, making a hamburger and putting a hot dog on top and eating it? Like, do I owe that guy royalties?
First of all,
how can he patent that?
A hot dog on top is not a ham dog. You would need to cut the hamburger in half. Do you understand?
Why not just cook them together? Like, why not just
this is well.
It seems like he's overcomplicated this process like exponentially. It seemed like his original solution of just double fisting with a hamburger in one hand and a hot dog in the other. Why didn't he just patent that?
Yeah. It is the world's only patented burger. It has been patented in the United States. Watch out for it. Ham dog is coming to America.
Ham dog.
And I can't tell
Ham dog, that'd be a good nickname.
Ham dog. Good old ham dog Strang. That's Channing.
That's Channing.
Yeah, so it's coming to America. Get excited. I have not done the research yet, but if you know where a ham dog is, please let us know, because we would love...
He's probably out playing Pokemon
I do.
Go.
There's one at Mulligan's Bar in Georgia now.
What? Mulligan's Bar in Georgia? That's not that far from us.
I know. You can go.
Somebody get to Mulligan's Bar in Georgia and give us a ham dog review.
Yep.
ASAP.
All right, that'll do it for Slices. Stay tuned. Up next, David Crowder joins us.
I've been both sides, babe. High and low. If I had my way, never let you go. I've been both sides, babe. High and low. If I had my way, never let you go. Let's get together and forget all the troubles and just flow. I don't want you to go. I need to be close to you now.
You're listening to Empire of the Sun. The song is High and Low. Well, this week's performance is brought to you by Blue Apron. Not all ingredients are created equal. Fresh, high-quality ingredients taste better and are better for you, so it's important to know where your food comes from. That's why I love Blue Apron. I actually am a customer. I actually cook with it, and as a guy who doesn't cook, it's incredibly easy. For less than $10 a meal, Blue Apron delivers seasonal recipes along with pre-proportioned ingredients to make delicious home-cooked meals. Blue Apron knows that when you cook with incredible ingredients, you make incredible meals. So they set the highest quality standards for their community of artisanal suppliers, family-run farms, fisheries, and ranchers. Check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/relevant. You'll love how good it feels and tastes to create incredible home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So don't wait. That's blueapron.com/relevant. Blue Apron, a better way to cook. David Crowder remains one of the most influential figures in the modern worship movement. In the last 20 years, he's written countless songs that are now sung in churches around the world, has been nominated for a Grammy, and has reached number 2 on the Billboard Top 200 chart. His latest album, American Prodigal, introduces the latest chapter in his creative evolution, blending Americana, stadium rock, and hymn-inspired songwriting. The album releases today. A couple weeks ago, David Crowder came by the studio and played a few songs from the new album for us. Here is David Crowder.
You came for criminals and every Pharisee. You came for hypocrites, even one like me. You carried sin and shame, the guilt of every man, the weight of all I've done, nailed into your hand. Oh, your love bled for me. Oh, your blood in crimson streams. Oh, your death is hell's defeat. The cross meant to kill is my victory. I've seen and tasted it. It's running through my veins. I can't escape its grip. In you my soul is safe. You cover everything. Oh, your blood bled for me. Oh, your blood in crimson streams. Oh, your death is hell's defeat. The cross meant to kill is my victory. Behold the Lamb of God who takes away our sin, who takes away our sin. The Holy Lamb of God makes us alive again, makes us alive again. Behold the Lamb of God who takes away our sin, who takes away our sin. The Holy Lamb of God makes us alive again, makes us alive again. Oh, your love bled for me. Oh, your blood to kill is my victory. Oh, a cross meant to kill is my victory.
That was David Crowder. Check out his new album, American Prodigal. It's out today.
To it, if the stage and the place to stay brewing. Hit the back of the red Cadillac with this maniac, now you know that the boy ruined. I'm alive and I'm vibing, no violence, whole bunch of silence, whole bunch of guidance. Now I'm feeling oh so vibrant. Feel like
you're listening to Mel Jute. The song is Concrete, featuring Pete Philly. Matthew Soerens is the U.S. Director of Church Mobilization for World Relief and the co-author of the book Seeking Refuge on the Shores of the Global Refugee Crisis. The book looks at the unprecedented scope of the crisis, dispels misconceptions about the refugee situation, and explains why Christians are called to help some of the world's most vulnerable. Our very own Aaron Hambury recently spoke to him. Here is Matthew Soerens.
Well, I mean, I guess to start off, why did you write the book? I mean, there is no shortage of commentary on refugees, particularly this year of all years. Why bring something else to the table?
Yeah, when we've been at World Relief, we've been serving refugees since the late 1970s. So we've been doing this for a long time in partnership both with the State Department as well as with lots and lots of local churches. But the interesting thing is, honestly, refugee resettlement was never really controversial, at least in the 10 years or more that I've been at World Relief. It was other immigration issues, what about those who are undocumented? Those have always been controversial questions, but refugees were kind of the easy part of what we did. There are people who all have legal status. They have these very compassion-inducing, sympathetic stories of fleeing from persecution. So it's very interesting that it's just been in the last year, really about a year ago, right now, when that image of Alan Kurdi, floating ashore on the beach in Turkey went all over the internet and all over newspapers all over the world. It created a wave of interest, both in the sense of a positive interest and compassion towards the refugee crisis coming out of Syria in particular, but very quickly followed by another wave of interest, which was focused more on fear. And I think with the terrorist attacks that happened in Paris and then later in California, that contributed much more significantly to that fear. And I think that's especially true in the United States. I should say those terrorist attacks, to the best of our knowledge, didn't involve any refugees, but that doesn't necessarily matter in the public perception. That was what people thought. So we really wrote the book to be a guide for followers of Jesus in particular, to say those responses of compassion and fear are understandable, but we want to make sure that our response is grounded in God's word, that it's grounded in the facts, because there's so much misinformation out there right now. And that it's grounded in the truth that each of those people is made in the image of God, and they each have an individual story. So a lot of the book is really the opportunity for us to tell some of the stories of the refugees whom we've been able to serve, both in the U.S. and internationally, over the many years that World Relief has been working with local churches to do this.
Let's go down the fear path a little bit. I appreciated what you said about some of the fears being understandable, I guess, and I think that's something that, myself included, right? We can tend to overlook that some of the people here in the United States are jockeying for political position. Some are trying to win votes. Some are rabble-rousers. And others, I think, are genuinely afraid, right? I mean, there's been some horrific things happening around the world. So, I guess based on research or whatever you would draw from, what are some ways in which these fears aren't grounded in reality? So, I guess let's take the particular fear that refugees are going to be a conduit for Islamic-based or ISIS-based terrorism here in the United States.
Yeah, I think, a lot of those misunderstandings are based on some statements by politicians who will say things like, well, we have no process to vet refugees, or even by seeing images of people, coming ashore in Europe and people presuming that somehow we have the parallel situation in the United States, that this is just people showing up and we have to figure out who they are. And while in Europe it's more complicated because they're not technically refugees, they're asylum seekers, and they're that until a government determines they are actually a refugee, which can take some time. In the United States, we admitted 70,000 refugees to the United States last year. It'll be slightly more than that this year. Every single one of those individuals was vetted, was screened by the U.S. government, the State Department in coordination with the U.S. Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Defense, the FBI, the National Counterterrorism Center. It's a very thorough process that happens entirely overseas. It usually takes at least 18 months, often much longer. And those are just a few refugees who are actually going to be resettled. Last year, it was less than 0.5% of the world's refugees who were resettled to the United States. The vast majority never even get considered. Those who do get considered go through this very thorough vetting process, and if there's any hint of any concern, they're not allowed to be resettled to the U.S. That's actually the most thorough vetting process that any category of immigrant or visitor to the United States is required to undergo. And I mean, for context, we had 70 million people visit the United States last year. And for whatever reason, and I think a lot of it is politically driven, we've focused so much of the attention on the 70,000 of those 70 million who already went through the most thorough vetting by far. I think one of the best evidences that that process is quite effective is that we've actually never had a terrorist attack in the United States that was perpetrated by someone who came in on the U.S. Refugee Resettlement Program. Now, I can't 100% guarantee that something bad couldn't happen in the future. I can't guarantee that about my 1-year-old son who was born here, because frankly, if you look at, Islamic jihadist extremist terrorist attacks in the United States, more have been committed by Christian converts to Islam than have been committed by refugees. But I am not concerned about the refugees whom we serve. I have had Middle Eastern refugees live in my house, take care of my kids, and they're wonderful families who love this country and are grateful for this country. I think it's totally appropriate that we're screening and vetting them, but I also think it's important that we continue to do so and that we make our determinations based on the facts, not just on people trying to work up fears around refugees in particular.
So everything you're talking about is very legal, right? It has a lot to do with policy, has a lot to do with the federal government, et cetera. Is this primarily a political issue?
Again, it never used to be, and I would prefer it not be. Of course, it's going to be a policy decision who comes into the United States. But I think I spend a lot of my time answering the question of, is this safe? And I'm happy to do that. The question I'd rather be answering is, who is my neighbor? And I think that there's a really compelling case for those of us who are followers of Jesus that the Syrian refugee or the Burmese refugee or the Congolese refugee or wherever is our neighbor. That's true when they're overseas, and we should do what we can to come alongside local churches to care for them there. But the relative few who are allowed to be resettled into the United States, I think we also have an opportunity to love them here, to welcome them, to be there at the airport as they arrive. One of the things we do with World Relief is we work with a small group from a local church, which we call a Good Neighbor Team, drawing from Jesus' words in Luke chapter 10, where the story of the Good Samaritan, where we're there to welcome that family and really commit to walking alongside them for the first 6 months to a year that they're in the country, helping them, with some basic cultural adjustment tasks, but more importantly, just by being friends. And for a lot of refugees, they'll tell you that their most significant need as they arrive is for a friend.
So talk to me about this kind of divide in terms of neighbors and I guess we'll say global politics or something. So, for a Christian who genuinely wants to help refugees, there's local elections and whatever, but by and large, a voting booth experience is only once every few years. And then there's things, I guess, you would say as in calling congressmen, et cetera, those kind of things. Other than that, what is it that person could be or should be doing to help refugees? Is it a matter of looking around, or I guess how would you break? I guess in my head there seems to be this kind of divide, because I do think there's this level of being kind to refugees, kind of the soup kitchen type ministry, resettlement ministries, those kind of things. And then there's also this sense in which it's such a big issue being talked about by like world leaders that it seems almost unattainable. Like there's nothing we could do. It's like when people talk about, controlled economics or something. That's just something that's happening in political debates. So how do we make that more earthy?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would encourage people, the first thing I would encourage people to do is to find that local opportunities to engage. Even if it's, if you can give up an hour once a week to volunteer. We have about 27 World Relief offices around the country, and there are other, kind of partner organizations like the Catholic Charities or Lutheran Immigration Refugee Services or Church World Service. Many of them are faith-based that are also doing refugee resettlement in some of the communities where World Relief is not. But they all have opportunities to volunteer, and those very hands-on, again, it's often a pretty simple task of befriending someone. Maybe it's helping them learn English or practicing English, those sort of things. I think I found that knowing one person makes this huge global issue. It doesn't make everything make sense, but it's a way for us to engage as followers of Jesus. And that, I think, will inspire people to do things like, I want to call my congressperson and tell them we shouldn't shut down the U.S. Refugee Resettlement Program, because I want people like my friend to be able to continue to come and seek refuge in the United States. Or maybe it's giving financially, or, one way that we've had a lot of churches who maybe don't have the time to engage on a very, long-term relational level, they'll put together the stuff that a new refugee needs when they land in the country. So basically, they'll furnish the apartment. We call that a welcome kit. Some of them will just do that on Amazon. They set up a wish list, and they have people from the church buy all the items that they need. And then another way that's, I think, really important, most refugees are not in the United States and are not coming to the United States. We work with church partners at World Relief in the Middle East who are literally serving 1,000 refugees a week. We sometimes ask a church of 1,000 in the United States, would you come alongside this one family? It's almost the inverse in the Middle East, where you have a church of 3 or 4 or 5 families serving 1,000 people a week. And we do something called Unlock Hope with World Relief, where we invite people in the United States to come alongside financially along churches and other ministries in the Middle East and elsewhere, because the refugee crisis isn't just coming out of Syria. I mean, that's about 4.5 to 5 million of the 21 million refugees in the world, but there's a lot of other refugees from a lot of other conflicts that don't get quite as much attention, but are similarly desperate.
So let's back up a little bit. I know the book, especially earlier on in the book, you deal with some of the more theoretical or foundational aspects of even who a refugee is. So, I mean, walk me through that. Like, from a biblical perspective, who is a refugee?
Sure. Well, I mean, I guess the Bible doesn't give us necessarily a particular definition of a refugee. The scriptures talk a lot about the foreigner in the land, and in most cases, those were people who had been pushed out by something, often by violence. Legally, in the U.S. internationally, a refugee is someone who's fled their country of origin because of a well-founded fear of persecution, because of their race, religion, political opinion, national origin, or social group. So certainly I think the people who our government recognizes as refugees fit into that biblical definition of a vulnerable foreigner whom we see throughout the Old Testament and in the New Testament as well. When we're commanded in the New Testament to practice hospitality, that's the Greek word philoxenia. It literally means to practice loving strangers. So having your friends over for lunch doesn't actually get us off the hook there. That's the way we tend to use hospitality. Like, oh, thanks so much for your hospitality. You made a nice meal for your friends. But when we're called to practice hospitality biblically, it means those who are unknown to us, who are different than us. And that's countercultural. I mean, I grew up watching Saturday morning cartoons about stranger danger. We're taught to be afraid of strangers. And I have little kids. I get why we teach kids that. But I think maybe as adults, maybe even as a society, we see people who are immigrants, who are refugees, and see a potential threat and I don't want to say the scripture promises you they're not a threat, although it does say in Hebrews 13 that we might just be entertaining angels without realizing it when we entertain strangers.
So let me ask you this. What happens if a particular party or candidate becomes the dominant or the controlling party in the United States, and we shut the doors to refugees insofar as we can, and all of maybe the most extreme version of that you can imagine What does the church here do at that time?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, that's a real question, and we're thinking of that as we're making contingency plans, because the president actually has a ton of authority under U.S. law, under the Refugee Act passed by Congress in 1980. The president basically gets to set the ceiling for how many refugees come in, and if he or she says that's 0, speaking hypothetically here, the president has that authority. So we could see in next year potentially having no refugees coming to the United States. So I think the response of the church, our ability to serve refugees who come in through a carefully vetted process goes away. There will probably still be people seeking asylum in the United States, which means they come without a visa or they come on a temporary visa. Usually only the wealthy can get a temporary visa to even have that as an option in front of them. But there may still be opportunities there, although we're obligated to that under international law. But again, a president who would undo the refugee program, I don't know what would happen with our international legal obligations for those seeking asylum. I also think it's really important, even beyond the church's role, to think about how this plays into foreign policy. And part of the reason that the U.S. accepts refugees is humanitarian and part of our national character and our history. Another part is we need to have some leverage when we tell a country like Jordan or Lebanon that you need to keep your doors open, because Lebanon has taken more than 1 million Syrian refugees. Turkey has taken more than 2.5 million. Jordan has taken at least 600,000, maybe significantly more, depending on whose stats you believe. Our State Department is encouraging them to continue to help let people come in, because if they're turned back and go back to be slaughtered, it takes a horrific humanitarian nightmare to a whole nother level. But we lose that leverage if we're saying we won't do anything. I mean, as it is, we're doing far less than those countries in terms of the number of people that we're receiving. We took in 70,000 as a big, wealthy country. Jordan, which is a very tiny country with limited water resources, takes in, 10 times that amount or more. So there's foreign policy dynamics to that too, that people sometimes ask, can we afford to bring in refugees? We might want to ask, can we afford not to? And again, from the church's perspective, we lose this remarkable ministry opportunity, both to stand with the persecuted church. I think it's worth noting that of the refugees who've come in the last 10 years, more have been Christians than of any other religious background. So a lot of them are already Christians who are persecuted for their Christian faith. But then also it's a mission on our doorstep to welcome people and to point people to Jesus who don't yet know Jesus. And we don't do that in a coercive way. We don't practice proselytization, but we do believe in evangelism of being a witness to who we believe Jesus is, and never in a forced way. But when you're welcomed by a local church and you're a Muslim family or a Hindu family, it's very likely that at some point you're going to have the question of, why are you here at the airport welcoming me? Why are you visiting me every week? And we get to point people back to Jesus. And we have seen many people make the decision on their own, of their own free will to follow Jesus. And we think that's exciting. It's a missional opportunity in our own communities that policy could make go away.
Well, one last question for you, Matthew. What's your hope for the book when you wrote it and pushed it out with your co-authors, of course? What's going to make it successful or not?
Yeah, our passion at World Relief is to empower the local church to serve the most vulnerable. And frankly, we wrote the book because with this becoming so politically charged, we wanted to make sure the church is still there to welcome refugees. And a big part of that is we think of this as, the United States has been described by President Reagan and others as a shining city on a hill. But our larger concern isn't the reputation of the United States. When Jesus used that expression, he wasn't talking about the United States. He was talking about his followers. You are the light. You are a shining city on a hill. Let your light shine before people so they can see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. And there are literally millions of refugees in the world today who are looking at followers of Jesus all around the world, not just in the United States, and are making their opinions about who Jesus is based on how his church responds to this refugee crisis. And I've seen the church respond in heroic ways, both in the United States and actually, honestly, even more so in places like Canada or Germany or Jordan or Turkey. But some in the United States certainly as well. But I think the opportunity is greater than what's being lived out right now. And we want to see the church stand for that, because whether that response is one of welcome and hospitality and love or one of scapegoating and fear, people are determining what they think of Jesus based on how his people respond right now.
When you're here, it feels so hard. did me wrong. Oh, you turned me stone cold. Stone cold. Oh, you turned me stone cold. Stone cold.
You're listening to Machine Heart. The song is Stone Cold, which if you had a machine heart, I guess it would also be stone cold.
Yeah.
You got to keep the heat down. No friction. So David Crowder, when he was telling us about his new album, which you guys can just go hear for yourselves, he was telling us, is like, it's weird, man. It's going to be different. It's weird. Which coming from David Crowder,
Yeah.
who is probably one of the more interesting experimental artists in the Christian scene. He keeps reinventing himself, and this album does it again.
It's like every other album is the experimental one, and then he comes back to being the. So I guess this is the experimental one.
It's the experimental one. Yeah. He takes some risks, and you'll see it for yourself when you listen to the album. It's awesome. With another song from the album, here is David Crowder.
I was born to be loyal. I was made to be free, but I was torn from a garden when that devil lied to me. Was formed from the soil. I got dirt inside of me. I was formed to be royal. I was made for glory. Take me back to the garden. Take me back and walk with me. For your presence I am longing. Take me back, God, take me back. Take me down to the river, down to Eden's crystal streams, where every sin can be forgiven. Holy Ghost, come set me free. Take me back to the garden. Take me back and walk with me. For your presence I am longing. Take me back, God, take me back to your kingdom. Come, take me back to your kingdom. Come. I was born to be royal. I was made
That was David Crowder. Make sure to check out American Prodigal. It's out now.
Don't miss Mosaic MSC's new album, Glory and Wonder, now on iTunes and Spotify. Glimpses of heaven can be seen and heard on earth. God's glory can be found in our everyday lives. His beauty is displayed through our stories and our songs. Mosaic MSC is creating a sound out of LA that blends worship and West Coast pop. The new album features songs across the universe, Never Stop, Tremble, and Glory and Wonder. Check out Glory and Wonder on iTunes and Spotify today.
You're listening to Shura. The song is What's It Gonna Be? Which is kind of a good segue to the feedback segment. What's it gonna be? What's the feedback? Last week, we asked you for the question of the week, what can you get from a hotel for free without lying or breaking a posted rule? We just wondered how far y'all would go. It was a complicated question because it required not only for you to come up with an idea, but to go and do it and then tell us about it. So we were wondering if anybody would actually follow through. And here's the results of that question. Here's some of our favorite replies.
I got to start with Chad Fenley, who actually didn't do it, but tweeted at all of us and said, my father-in-law stopped at a Holiday Inn every day for 15 years for a free cup of coffee and a newspaper. That is awesome.
Cool.
Wow. That
Wow.
is thievery. I didn't start to do the math, but I'm like, price of inflation, $1 million.
$1 million. He could have bought a ham dog patent for that.
And who has time to stop at the Holiday Inn every morning?
Maybe it's next
by
door.
my calculations, he could own 10% of the hand dog patent. And by the way, if he's interested, I'm looking to sell my share because, look, you got to call a spade a spade. That was a bad investment. I'm hemorrhaging money on hand dog.
Yeah. Hot Burger absolutely destroyed it.
Yeah, Hot Burger, it just took off. Yeah.
I feel like there were either really absent-minded employees at the Holiday Inn, or they had a high turnover of people at the front desk to not notice the same man coming in for 15 years.
Right. It's just every week there's somebody new, so they just figure, oh, well, I just didn't see him yesterday.
Or at some point, like 3 years in, they just resign themselves so that this guy comes in every day. You know, it's just like, oh, here he comes freeloading. Let's see. Someone's aunt, Joss Morg, that's an interesting screen name, said that they live in Las Vegas, and they actually took us up on the challenge. They went to the South Point Casino and stood there and tried to build up the courage to go ask the front desk for some stuff, but never could because the manager just stood there and eyed them the whole time. So he was dropping someone off at the hotel, and he decided to make the commitment. He walked into a Hilton, walked right past the front desk guy, greeted him. So he said hello to the front desk guy, and then proceeded to the snack table only a few feet from the desk. I drank as much fresh lemonade as I could, then grabbed 3 packs of Earl Grey tea and walked right past the guy. He said he did have a confused and concerned look on his face, but he was able to bring his wife some tea for the next 3 days. So that was a consequence-free a freebie right there.
Daniel said, earlier this year, I hosted a Super Bowl party in a hotel lounge. To be fair, I did have a room in the hotel.
No, then that's fine.
But was 2,000 miles from home. But all the folks that I brought over did not have a room there, which I'm still like, that's not that bad. We're getting towards stealing until he said, we enjoyed the provided refreshments from the lobby breakfast area, including free wine. So all of his buddies came over to the hotel and drank the, Hamptonality cookies and wine and which I thought.
Yep, that crossed the line.
I was like, not stealing. Stealing? Well done.
John said that in college, he and some roommates would go to the hotel across town to sit in the lobby to watch March Madness games and the MLB playoffs. He said there was a bunch of other hotels on the way, but this one served free snacks, and we might have used their pool.
Did you see that Austin wrote, I was inspired. I took a drone through a Starbucks drive-thru after hearing your podcast. A local news station picked it up about the coffee, and now I'm shooting a Chipotle burrito pickup with Channel 4 News in the Detroit area next week. And then there was a link to the video. I'm not quite sure how we inspired that. We do talk about drones a lot.
Yeah, we're talking about food drone delivery quite a bit.
Well, Austin, congratulations. I'm clicking
So
on
he just sat in the parking lot and sent the drone through the drive-thru.
I wish I had clicked on the...
It's pretty amazing.
He's got a little cup holder attached to his drone.
Tell you, my Michigan people.
Flying the drone. He calls Starbucks. I'm like doing this in fast forward. Yeah, that's exactly what he did. He pulled the drone up to the front of Starbucks. Look at that. And the Starbucks employee walked out, put the coffee in the drone. But he called in the order. So he paid for it.
Whoa. He called it in, so he never appeared.
No, he called in the order and
he called it in and said a drone is coming in, and it landed in the park or like flew right over the front door in the parking lot.
Dude.
And the lady brought out, but what I love is that he calls it a drone through instead of drive through.
Yeah, that is funny. So he drove it up. So the drone is just hovering there, and this young woman walks out and puts...
Do you remember the episode of The Simpsons where Homer Simpson decided to get like lazy at the house and he gained like 400 pounds and he wore a muumuu?
Oh, yeah.
And he couldn't like leave the couch, and so he invented a stick to like poke at the phone, and like, he'd never moved.
Yeah.
That is where we're going with drones. No, I don't have to get off the couch. I'm just going to fly the drone down to Payway to pick up dinner and bring it back.
Look, it's coming down to Austin.
Well, you're acting like this is a bad thing.
No, I think we're going to look like Homer Simpson in the muumuu.
You know what I would love, though, if Austin took his first sip of it
today,
and he's
by
like,
the way.
actually, I got a dirty chai and not a grande Americano, and he has to send it back.
He has to send it back.
He took a sip because this chai just is not dirty enough and just zipped it on away.
Austin Kuhn, congratulations.
That's amazing.
Yeah, the future is now, Austin. Good job.
Okay, that'll do it for last week's feedback. It's time for this week's
editorial question of the week. Hey.
Okay, well, we had two instances on this week's show of one of our own, so to speak, like the story of something they did going viral or getting picked up.
Right.
So earlier in the show, Jesse made it onto Wait, Don't Tell Me. That's crazy. Right. He is now officially part of American folklore.
Right. And even more impressively, Austin.
Yeah, and then Austin Kuhn, our listener, Austin Kuhn, got inspired by the food drone delivery situation and did it, and it got picked up, and now So we want to know your stories of any time something you've done has gotten picked up in the media or went viral, or something you did that, kind of
you got the radio station.
You won tickets to the
got quoted somewhere.
To the Christopher Cross Michael McDonald tour.
Oh man, those you could barely win tickets to them. They were,
Expose the third tooth on a famous member of a boy band. Whatever it is.
Yeah. Did you make a meme that went viral? Like, we want to know something you've done that has gone viral or gotten picked up in the media.
I'm not saying one of those is better, but I'm just saying, did you do that? Because someone did it on a national podcast this week. But yeah, we got the gist.
So hit us up on the podcast episode page at relevantmagazine.com or hit us up on Twitter at Relevant Podcast and let us know.
I can't wait to read these.
We have a great listenership. I mean, they're out there like inventing drone pickup for Starbucks. I mean, I know they've done stuff. This is going to be great.
We're going to have some weird ones too.
Yeah. Many thanks to our show sponsors, Israel. Remember to go to land-of-the-bible.com and discover the side of Israel you've never seen. And also thanks to Blue Apron. Make sure to check out this week's menu and get your first 3 meals for free with free shipping by going to blueapron.com/relevant. When you guys do that and go to those specific URLs, it really helps out the show. Also, thanks to our guests for coming through. David Crowder's new album, American Prodigal, drops today. Go get it. It's really good. And you can follow him on Twitter at Crowder Music. Also, thanks to Matthew Soerens. His book is called Seeking Refuge on the Shores of the Global Refugee Crisis. And you can follow him on Twitter at Matthew Soerens. Hey, when you're over on iTunes and you're downloading the show, why don't you drop a review? we like hearing the feedback, and it actually helps the show's presence on iTunes when you review it.
I saw some of the reviews. They are very complimentary of Calvin. So let's get back to
update
it.
those.
Let's get back to it. It's, trust me, you don't know what 5 stars is until you've experienced.
And while you're online doing stuff, head over to relevantmagazine.com. You can subscribe now for the magazine. We're doing a $6 sale, and you can get 6 months of the magazine for only $6. And I think you'll like it. On that note, we'll wrap it up. I'm Cameron Strang.
I'm Eddie Koffoltz.
I'm Chandler Strang.
I'm Joy Eggers-Reed.
I'm Jesse Carey.
We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to the Relevant Podcast. Connect with us on Twitter @RelevantPodcast and get bonus material from this episode and more at the podcast section on relevantmagazine.com. And don't forget to check the magazine out. It's available on newsstands and at the iTunes App Store, or you can subscribe online at relevantmagazine.com/subscribe.
Billboard reports that Nick Jonas, who has 3 front teeth, has the #1 album in the country.